Okay, so it's my friend's 40th birthday today, and I reached out to her and sent her a text and said happy birthday, and then said, do you have a video request? And she at first asked for the meaning of life. And I told her I may not be the right person to ask about that. I'm sure Gandhi would be better. Then she said, well, what if you do a video that talks about how to choose the right contour? And I thought, you know what, this is a good subject to talk about because it confuses the hell out of a lot of people and they have a really hard time finding the right contour. And I will say that there's so many different factors, and sometimes I have a hard time articulating what makes a good contour for somebody, because if I have all these colors in front of me, I don't know, somehow I just know, grab this one for this person. And I think sometimes as an artist, it's hard to, I've had a couple of great teachers along the way that were able to articulate things, and they would ask like, well, Lindy, why did you grab that color? And I'm like, I don't know, I just knew. So I don't really know. I might not be the best teacher at times. There's lots of things I'm good at teaching, but I might not be the best at teaching how to actually choose contour colors. But I'm gonna try to like talk this out a little bit and see if it makes sense. First off, I really think that contouring during the day is awkward. Unless your job is to take pictures, to take selfies, and post them on Instagram and filters and do all of these sort of things, then by all means wear it during the day. But I think it can look really awkward. And I did a video, you'll have to scroll way down, but way down, like I've done so many videos. But I've done video before where I put on this like super heavy foundation and I did some super contour, and my point was to show how ridiculous it looked, except in the video it looks flippin' good. But that's because it's a video. But when I walked outside in real life, trust me when I say it looked ridiculous, because it did. It just flat out looked crazy. And I mean, anyways. So in saying all of that, I feel like there are ways to softly sculpt the face for during the day, very softly. If you are on the fair side, Benefit makes a great contour called Hula Light. So they have the regular Hula, which is also a really great color for the majority of people, unless you have a super deep skin tone. But if you have a more medium skin tone, Hula looks great, and Hula Light is better for us super pasty people. If you have a very deep skin tone, my personal preference is to work with the skin tone that you have, and then gradually, it's all about highlighting for me. I think it looks the best. I mean, I've seen people that have a really deep skin tone and they're using like a really, really, really dark brown contour or an almost black contour, and like, I don't know. I just covet that beautiful deep skin tone that I just think like work with some highlighting, and but this is totally my opinion. If you have a deep skin tone and you really want to do a lot of contour, then by all means, do that. And I live in Seattle. That unfortunately is a little too white of a place in a lot of ways, and I think people with a super dark skin tone think that people that are super pasty like me aren't the best makeup artist for them. And there might be some validity and truth to that, you know? I don't really take offense to that. I have no problem admitting that because I don't have that skin tone, I might not be the best. I think that I could still do an awesome job as a makeup artist, but if they feel more comfortable going to somebody that has the skin tone that they do, that's okay. I'm not gonna get upset over that. So I'm gonna show you, anyway, I don't have the Hula or the Hula Light with me at the moment, but what I do have is this palette from Urban Decay, Naked Skin Shape Shifter. Now this one, it has a powder on the bottom, and the top is more cream, you can see that this is quite new, this palette, and I haven't really played around with the cream stuff at all because I just tend to like powders. That's me. So I'm going to work with these. I'll use that for a little highlighter. I'm gonna use this guy, and I might use a tad of this one. But if you see that this color is warmer and this one's a little bit cooler, I'm gonna use a little bit of the cooler. So the idea for contouring is supposed to be, the whole purpose of it is to create a shadow. And I'm gonna take very little of this product, not a lot. And this is a tiny little kabuki brush from Eco Tools. And where you see this shadow, I'm going to very softly apply this color. Very softly though, I'm not going cuckoo because it will look ridiculous on me unless I'm in a nice dark place, and then it'll look very pretty. But the problem is when you're really fair, if you gravitate towards the colors that are a little bit on the cooler side, they can tend to look a little muddy. Actually, I mean, it doesn't matter what skin tone you have. If you gravitate towards some of those colors in general, they can look a little too muddy. So I didn't have to make any sort of crazy face to do this because I can see where my cheekbones are. But if you do feel the need to make the fish face, by all means, go ahead. So to me, this should look really soft. You shouldn't see any hard lines. I've seen pictures where I can see, this is where you see that little older jowls. I just think you need to be really light-handed with this thing because, and with any sort of contour, because you can always keep adding and going a little darker, which I'm gonna take a little bit of the darker one, small amount. I'm barely touching my brush to this. And then it's just the tip of my brush. Just the tip. Okay, so I also have what I refer to as not a 4-head, but a 5-head. And because my hair is not fixed, so I'm gonna take a little bit of that darker color, and I have more of a square forehead, so I'm gonna knock off this edge a little right here. So the idea of this is to try to have an oval face. So I have a squoval. I'm a little more oval on the lower half, just a little. But this here, I got all these little baby hairs happening here, and I haven't fixed my hair. So I'm gonna try to knock off that little corner and this little corner. Softly, softly, and you can keep building. Thank God I'm going out tonight, so I'll be in a nice dark place, and then this won't look as bad, but this is not daytime. This is not daytime makeup for the majority of people. It is for me. 'Cause I don't give up. Okay, so there we go, soft. You can also think that there are some people that will teach if you take a bronzer color, like what's the difference in bronzer? Bronzers are like to warm things up, but it's really about where you place these things. If you're trying to warm stuff up and you want it to look like where the sun hit you, you would bronze a little bit here, you would bronze kind of down the middle and like on the cheeks here. That's where a bronzer would go. For contouring, you want to think a little more like a 3, if that helps. A 3. So, I hope that it helps a little bit when it comes to contouring. You know, without seeing somebody in front of me, it's hard to sit there and be like, and if you have this skin tone, you should do this color. Highlighting, boop, 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 right here on top, a little highlighting, and I am just dabbing. I don't know how to dab. I'm an excellent dancer too. Anyways, okay, so just to give a little glow, I like doing that, and I like doing down the nose. I already did a tiny bit of that, and that was done with eyeshadow because I don't like all the rules of you can't do this, you can't do this. Okay, so I see plenty of girls, this just kind of drives me bonkers, and I'll clear this up quickly. I see plenty of girls that on Instagram that will do this, but then they don't put any blush color at all. It just makes me a teeny bit sad. So just as a little pop of color, if you will, which I'm going to use the Rockateur from Benefit because I love. And I'm just going to place a little bit of this on the apple here, just to kind of help bring it together. Like, doesn't that look prettier? I think so. But you know, if you just want to rock just the highlight and contour and that's it, you don't feel like putting any color on, that's okay. Do what you want to do. This is just my opinion. I think a little bit of color looks nice. Just a little. I can totally get heavy-handed when it comes to blush. You've most likely seen that in some of my videos where I've gotten a little heavy-handed. And if you don't like it, that's okay. It's just makeup. It doesn't hurt my feelings if somebody says I don't like this. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Ta-da. So, hope this helps a little bit when you're thinking of blush and highlighting and contouring and those kinds of things. I could get way more in depth with contouring, but notice that I don't feel the need to contour my nose every day. It's my nose. Whatever. Okay, and yep, I'm gonna end this and then I'll do lips and maybe a couple other little fun things. We'll see.